Notification. Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an incredible guest with us today, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother out of Washington, D.C., Brother Ean. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, sir.
Yes, sir. And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come have a conversation with us.
Absolutely. I'm here to serve, Brother Josh.
Yes, sir. The first question that we have for you today is, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Well, like most of us around my age, I'm 52 now, so that whole 80s rap era was the first time I heard the minister's name. Now, I didn't know who he was. I'm just reciting the lyrics because I love rap. And I'm hearing this Farrakhan, and I'm like, okay, sounds nice, but I still wasn't paying attention to it. So now this is 1991, and I'm around Howard students. I went to Howard for a little while, so I'm around Howard students, you know, the School of Consciousness, and I'm starting to hear the name more and more and more. And I'm like, okay, who is this Farrakhan dude? You know, I'm talking like everybody else. And you know, you hang around Howard long enough, Brother Josh, ultimately you're going to find out who the minister is. That's number one. And number two, my mom brought his name up, and she was going to see him, and I still didn't really know who he was. And that was around 91. And you know, I kept hearing his name, and that's how it all started. And I messed around one day, Brother Josh, and met one of the FOI, and it was over with after that.
Yes, sir. Now, what was it about the teachings that made you, want to accept?
Well, I was a defiant one, if you will. You know, I'm in college. You know, I'm thinking I know something already. I've read a few books, and I'm like, nah, this can't be true. So I'm one of those ones that I have to try to prove you wrong. You know, so now I'm reading. Now I'm doing some homework. Now I'm seeing certain things, and then I find out the messenger and Mother Clara is from where my dad is from in rural Georgia, Cordele. And it blew my mind because I'm 21, but nobody had ever told me this growing up. Not my dad, great-grandmother, great-grandfather, nobody. So now I'm really intrigued, Brother Josh. I'm like, well, who is this little guy from my area with a third-grade education who's dumbfounded the world? And so that's when I really started studying, really started reading more, started going up to the place by Howard University. All y'all who know Tape Connection, you know it well. And I became a regular at the Tape Connection. And so I just started, delving more and more and more into it. And as they say, Brother Josh, man, once you get a tape or once you read a book, you're hooked. And it went on from there, man. And so, yeah, I was luckily in the right area at the right time.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And thank you, everyone who's showing love to our brother Ean, all around the world. My next question is, you spoke of your mother going to see the minister, but how did your other family feel about you and friends feel about you accepting the teachings?
Well, for the most part, everybody was pretty much on my team. Now, I can't lie, Brother Josh. I lost a few girlfriends at the time, and here we are 37 years later. They still won't even hit me back on Facebook. I mean, they were upset with me that I started dealing with the minister and stopped dealing with them. They didn't like that. My grandmother, she was kind of on the fence a little bit, which is odd, because my grandparents also lived in Queens, around the corner from where the minister and Malcolm lived. This is in East Elmhurst. You follow? And of course, I knew none of this at the time. But when I started accepting the minister and the teachings, she started to see my my language and my grammar started to change. She was a teacher. And she didn't like the fact that, because I was born in Atlanta, but I spent a lot of time between Atlanta and New York. She didn't like the fact that I use a lot of Southern lingo. You know how that is, you in the ATL. Yes, and she detested bad grammar. She detested slicing your verbs and messing up synonyms. She couldn't stand it. So when she started to hear, okay, wow, okay, he's improving a bit. And she noticed it wasn't me just going to college. And she started noticing that, okay, wow, he's kind of straightening up a little bit. And he's wearing a suit now. He's wearing a suit more than he did. So my grandmother, she felt a way about it at first, but after a while, and especially after I started bringing her bean pies, it was over with. Yeah, she was all the way with it. But everybody else, for the most part, my boys, they're going to rag on you a little bit. They will Joan on you and test your faith, and they did. But ultimately, those boys of mine that did that then, they're still my boys now, and they're always with me. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad you said that. What advice would you give to people who are, fresh recruits, people who are just accepting the teachings about how to not lose their boys, you know what I'm saying? Not how to lose their family when you first get the teachings. Like, what advice would you give to them to show them how to, safely, maneuver their way in the nation?
Well, Michael Jackson said it best. He said, "Let me show you the way." Let me show you. Let me show you the way to go. And you oddly enough had Michael on your wall in the back, but I always thought about that verse when he said it, because with my friends, see, we party. We went to school, but we party. We studied, but we party. We stayed at the go-go, but we were always students first. So they saw that, okay, he's still me, or he's still, at that time, they called me Fred. They said, well, he's still Fred, but I see him kind of making a switch. So they sat back, like most, and they watch. And they looking, they say, oh yeah, he's coming back to the club. No, he's coming back to that 40 ounce, because that's 40 ounce Fred. I know he's coming back. And then when they didn't see he didn't do it, they were like, wow, okay, it must be something to it. But I still maintain a friendly relation with them. You never get so uppity and bougie where you zip your jacket up and all of a sudden now I don't associate with those people. I'm a Muslim now.
Yes,
no, that's what you don't do. But you maintain a rapport with your friends and let them know, hey man, this is good for me. I think it might be good for you. And I was able to bring a lot of my friends to the mosque. And they respected the fact that I cared about them enough to do so. But yet I didn't get so again, I hate to use the word bougie, but I didn't get so uppity that I just left them in the wind and now I got my Islam and now you're on your own, like I'll be sure. No, they respected the fact that I respected them, but they respected the fact that I stayed down with the minister. And to this day, I'm still down.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And people showing you love all around the world. Shout out to brother Adi on the source, says, Assalamu alaikum, top soldier. This is one of your former first officers, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Big brother.
Yes, sir. And then Sister Miriam, Sister Naima says, Assalamu alaikum, salam, Naima. Thank y'all for watching. Okay, yes, sir. So, Brother Ian, my next question is, when was the first time you got to see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in person, or see him speak? Did he come to D.C. or did you have to go to Chicago to see him?
Well, it was the irony, man. I was here in D.C., but I had never saw him. No, I did see him speak. I think it was at the Jacob Javits. I think that was the first time, and I had just bought a hoopty, and me and about four of the brothers, rest in peace, Brother Kevin, who just passed away not too long ago, Brother Secretary James, I know you out there, brother, you remember this trip. We jumped in my hoopty, and we drove up to the Jacob Javits Center in the bucket, and I think that was the very first time. Prior to that, I had been on post. And the minister, he was in town dealing with some people, down in the district for some kind of formal meetings or something like that. So one of the brothers, because I was processing, but I was almost getting my ex, and a brother put me on the doorpost. And prior to this, never saw the minister, wasn't even close. Long story short, I'm on the doorpost, Brother Josh, and the limos and the cars pull up. So the E-team is coming, and the minister is being flanked. So I'm looking, and I'm like, that's him. And Brother Jamal out of Baltimore, Monster number 6, he's in the background, like, man, get the door, man, get the door. Because I'm sitting there like, oh, that's the minister, that's him, that's him. Then I snapped back, and I opened the door, and I was at attention, Brother Josh, and he walked by, and all you felt was the cool breeze. And I was like, he really cool. Like, he's really that guy. That was the first time I saw him in person, and that's all I needed right there, Brother Josh. Beautiful. That's all I needed. Yes, sir.
Excellent. And people showing you love all around the world. That's just Anita Rose, Assalamu alaikum, salam, and Akeem, my brother-in-law, who's formerly a bro. ASA, Brother Ian.
Yes, sir. My guy right there, boy. He's 6'9" now. I remember when he was 3'9". Go ahead, Brother Akeem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. My next question for you is, when did you know that the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan was more than a activist, if you will, or someone who could speak well, that he was in fact divinely guided? Like, when did you have that epiphany?
It was around the time of the Million Man March. And I'll say this, Brother Josh, because I got my ex in 94. I moved to Chicago in 95. But I'm going to actually say before I even moved, because again, I sat back for like 2.5 years watching, because again, I'm like a lot of brothers, I'm sitting back and I'm looking for the angle. I'm looking for the gotcha. I'm looking for the, okay, yeah, I thought so. I didn't see it. So after, I think around 94 is when I figured, okay, yeah, this guy, he's more than just a good speaker, because I can speak well. We get that. We've known many good public speakers. I know religious guys. I mean, my family's a church family, so I know church people. I said, nah, that ain't it. He dresses well. I said, well, it's a lot of guys that can dress well. I said, there's more to it than those things. And I just started doing the math. And after watching and listening to several interviews, I started saying, okay, wow, okay, now this guy is definitely something different. And the fact, here's one more right here, Brother Joshua. When I saw him in a specific interview, I think it was a Meet the Press interview. And it was amazing because I was at the time I was a student again. So I'm taking radio, TV, and communication classes, and I'm watching certain things and I'm listening to this, and I'm saying like, oh, he different. He ain't just a regular civil rights guy. And so by 94, man, right before the $1 million man mark, hey man, I was like, yeah, he's more than just some religious guy, who's just talking about God. Yeah, when he say he met with the messenger and Allah's talking to him, I'm like, yeah, he ain't just saying this for Sunday services. Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Brother Ian, speaking of the $1 million man march, what was it like leading up to the $1 million man march? What was the climate like, and how did the $1 million man march personally affect you?
Well, yeah, I had moved to Chicago by then, so I flew in, and my former lieutenant, Brother Raymond, I know you out there, Brother Raymond. Shout out to you, brother. Brother Raymond picked me up from the airport, and naturally, we're there first thing in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning, and so at first I was like, well, I don't know if we're gonna get $1 million. No disrespect, Brother Minister. This is what I'm saying. No disrespect, Brother Minister. We might get about 300,000-400,000. You know what I mean? We might get that. And as time went on, Brother Joshua, I'm telling you, I'm being witness to it. It ain't something I read off a bumper sticker. I'm watching the multitudes come in because I'm on the ground, like literally, I'm right there, and I'm watching the people come in, and I'm like, okay, this is really happening. And so the time is not going by slow because it's steady action coming in, and I'm watching. I'm like, okay, this stuff just got real. So by a certain time, I'm noticing, okay, we got an abundance of people here. I said we might have about 500,000. Then I got snatched up. A brother put me on post. And next thing I know, I had about 15 men behind me, and we just cutting through the crowds. And that's when we started collecting, whatever brothers wanted to give. And I started to notice the unity and the harmony and the no beef, and nobody, as we say in D.C., nobody gritting on each other. No fights are starting, and the energy, as they say, was nothing but peaceful. I mean, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't script it. And when I saw that and you heard, and of course when you felt this, because again, you had to be there, as they say, and that feeling, man, it got in you. And so it was mesmerizing, man. And then here's another one. I saw one of my boys again, I mentioned from before. He hadn't seen me in years. Because one, I had got in the mosque, and two, I had moved to Chicago. So he hadn't seen me in years. So now I'm in the ranks with the brothers. We about 30, 40 deep. And we cutting through, we going somewhere. And we left, right, left. And I see my man sitting because he came. And he see me, he look up. He was like, that's Fred. And I see you, and you in the ranks, right? So you got to stay sharp. So I see him, I hit him one time like that. Boom. We kept going. Man, he was like, oh man, if he in there, I know this gotta be real. So it was overwhelming, man. It was a beautiful sight, a great feeling. And again, like I said, yeah, I was a little skeptical at first. I knew the ministers could do it. I just didn't know that nearly 2 million, man. That's what got me. So on my way back to Chicago, man, I don't think I slept for like another day. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. All praises to Allah. And thank you very much. And Brother Ian, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we thank Allah for you and your sacrifices and the many sacrifices of your family as well, just to help establish Islam here in North America. So we thank Allah for you and holding it down all these years, sir. May Allah continue to bless you.
Yes, sir.
Now the Million Man March, for those of us who weren't there and weren't able to go and things of this nature, do you think that we'll ever see something like that again? Because it feels like every time I ask the Million Man March question, people like, it was the greatest this, it was the greatest that. And I'm just like, I don't know if we, you know what I'm saying? So based off what you've seen, have you ever had that feeling again? And do you think that we'll get that feeling again?
No, that was something that was I don't think it could be done again. You know, well, I'll say this, at least not in my lifetime, because people said we never have a black president, but that happened. I'll say it's not in my lifetime, because again, that was something that like you couldn't script, you couldn't make it up. I mean, it's kind of like this. You're a rap guy, like I'm a rap guy, right?
Yes, sir.
And in freestyle battles, a lot of times one guy will say something that just totally obliterates the other guy, and you come back and ask him, man, what'd you say? Man, I don't know, but yo, I was in the moment, man. Yo, that's how I don't even know what I said. Because why? The spirit was there, the energy was there, the momentum was there, and the timing was right. So, you know, for that to happen again, man, I don't know, man, because it was straight from the soul, and it was straight from Allah, and I wouldn't even know if I wanted to see it again, because I'd be sitting there like, yeah, nah, that ain't right, nah, we did it this way, nah, no, he got a yellow suit on, nah, we didn't, you know. So I I don't think so. No, sir, Brother Josh, no, sir.
Yes, sir. And Brother Ian, as we just we'll make sure we get it on camera. We'll make sure we know no Bama's allowed for the record. Is that right?
Hey, understand this. Let me take the glasses off and come on in and take my belt off. Y'all need to know, man. Hey, brothers, we need to tighten up. No Bama's allowed. I said it. I brought it to Chicago. We're going to make it plain today. All you brothers in these tight suits and these funny looking socks and these skinny shoes, nah, man. They taught me well when I got here to D.C. And if you want to be a Bama in the beginning, that's fine. But you can't stay one. Let's tighten up, soldiers. NBA, man, no Bama's allowed, y'all.
No Bama's allowed. Yes, sir. And on that positive note, we want to have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We thank you for all of the random donations on the Cash Apps to our people from YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Please continue to show love. $sign the People's Podcast. 1 second, we're coming right back to our brother Ian, and we want to hear about his businesses as well. Goodness, 1 second. And Brother Ian, Brother Audio Nasur is in the comments talking about your businesses and talking about your bean pie. So we definitely want to get hear about this. I didn't know you made bean pie, Brother Ian.
Oh, yes, sir, brother. It was known. This is how I kind of got the promotion, if you will, from Brother Minister Sean to go to Chicago. We were making about 200 to 300 bean pies a night. At Muhammad's Mosque. Well, initially it was another bakery in Maryland, but we eventually came to 1615 Kenilworth Avenue, and we would make 200 to 300, sometimes more, every night for the FOI, and several stores we had in the city we would deliver to. And I got pretty good at it, Brother Josh. I'm a culinary guy also.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a culinary. Never went to school for any of the culinary arts. I can cook rather well. I can bake pretty well too. Not like Brother Amin. Brother Amin's got the meanest bean pie I've ever tasted. But you know, we were getting busy, man, and we got to a point where our name started ringing. You know, so the competition got so vicious is that, but myself and two other bakers, one in D.C. and one in Baltimore, we were in a righteous competition. And so, yeah, I was taught by a sister. I don't believe she's with us now, but she taught me in the beginning, and I took it from there. And next thing you know, with the help of Brother Derrickson, Secretary Brother Derrickson, who he helped guide us as well. But myself, Brother Vernon, Brother Secretary James, a lot of other volunteers, man, they stayed up with me till 6, 7 in the morning, and we were rocking. I mean, we had arguably, in other people's words, we had the best pie in the city, and that's all praise due to Allah. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Ray. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now here we go for the sponsorships, and thank you everyone who continues to show love all around the world here, and thank you to each sponsor as well. 1 second. Here we go. There we go.
Television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon.
Perfect. And Brother Akeem says he remembers Brother Ian had the mom smelling like a bakery in D.C. Beautiful. 1 second. All right. We got one more sponsorship. Okay, yes, Brother Ian, we got it. And Brother Ian, I'm working on something. I gotta tell you about dealing with the bean pie for the
Uh-oh.
So Asiatic Minds to Sherry Muhammad. If you have children, please enroll your children in AsiaticMinds.com. They teach STEM virtually to young kings and queens all around the world. Thank you very much, Sister Sherry. AsiaticMinds.com. All right, boom. Brother Ian.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So basically, I don't know why we just did this, but because Akeem said that, we should go talk about that. But the bean pie, we have a few people who have bean pies around the nation, and they were talking about it on Facebook. And I reached out to them. I said, well, why don't we just do it on people's podcasts? They said, yeah. I said, we'll just have them all there, let people, try them out, and so they can see, what's going on. So we got to get Brother Ian to be a part of that, since you had the East Coast popping. All right, my next question is, have you ever been faced with fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Yes, sir. It was 2 times. One was while I was processing. And which is how I got my ex, by the way, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But let me go back. When I was I was first jumped, first time I'd ever got jumped before. And it was 2 guys. I'm just getting off work. I was a tire changer at the time. Out of all the jobs I've ever had, I don't know why, but I was decided to be a tire changer one day. And I'm working hard. I get off work 9-10 hours, and I get off the bus, and I just bought the newest pair of New Balance, the 1500s. Cost me like $150. So, I'm getting off the bus, man, and I'm tired, but I'm walking. I'm cool because I got my $100-something shoes on, right? And man, I'm going home, and all of a sudden these 2 guys, they're coming my way, and I'm like, I'm in Largo, Maryland. This ain't the block. This ain't Anacostia or something like that. I'm like, nothing gonna happen. We're gonna walk past each other. Well, one of them stole on me. One of them stole him. It's 9 o'clock at night. So he steals on me. Boom, I go down. His other guy is standing there with the thing saying, yeah, you want me to shoot him. So I'm laying there, I'm like, okay, here we go. This might be it. Right. And fortunately, all they took was my shoes. And I said, I got my life and I got my money. I was more upset about the shoes. But these are the 1500 New Balance, man. So I was more upset about that. That was my first moment. Second one, like I mentioned, baking bean pies one night. Yeah, true story. Me and a Spanish guy I had helping me. We were out. It was a place off New Hampshire Avenue in Maryland, and we would bake the pies because the kitchen, it gets hot, as you know. So we had a back door we would leave open to let the pies cool. Well, this particular night, this one guy decides to come in through the back door. He wants to hold us up, thinking we got money in the bakery, which don't even make no sense. So this 2-3 in the morning, me and the Spanish guy, we're doing our thing. We turn around, and here's this guy with the gun. And he's telling me and the Spanish brother, give me what you got, or, something like your money or your life, something like that. Then he says, and we're standing there, hands up. Spanish guy don't speak no English. So he looking at me like, hey, man, what you gonna do? This is your people, right? So the guy says, who's in here with you? Now, I have been processing by this point, Brother Joshua. I've been processing, right? It's like 93. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this Muslim thing. If this don't work, this the end, right? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see if this God is real. But I'm scared because I'm like, I don't know what to do. He says, who's in here with you? I said, hey man, it's just us and Allah. So then I'm like, okay, is it working? I ain't say nothing. I'm like this. Spanish guy looking at me. So we standing the hands up. So the guy slowly but surely, but Josh, he's still got his gun pointed at us, but he starts walking backwards. And he eventually left out that same back door he came in, right where the pies were, and we never saw him again. Man, that Spanish dude looked at me. Man, bro, Josh, he was so elated. I'm gonna use a word we say in DC. He was sized. He was super sized because we didn't lose our lives that night, man. Because nobody would have known till the next morning when the bakery opened up. So those were the two most the scariest moments, if you will, in my life. Yeah, but after that, I got my ex a couple of months later. So Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, now, right, I asked the same people from Chicago, LA, especially Baltimore, Newark, Atlanta now. When you live in these cities where the crime rate is, high like this, and you experience this, what makes you stay in that same city?
Man, it's the faith, I guess, because, my story is a little unique. I came from Atlanta at that time where I lived there. That's when the whole Wayne Williams thing was going on. So I was a part of the Atlanta child murder scene. So I could have been a part of that in the 80s. Then I get to DC. Well, I was still going back and forth to New York. So you know how New York can be. But then we got to DC, and then DC became Dodge City. 86, 88, 89, 90, because the murder rate kept increasing. And the crack era was going on, man. And I was a part of that. And I beat that. Moved to Chicago. Crime rate 600, 700 a year. I lived on the Chicago east side, the west side and the south side. For a minute, lived out in Joliet with my man, Brother Harold. Shout out to Brother Harold. And I just said, man, you know what? I just got the faith, man. I just believe nothing's gonna happen to me, man. And Allah was guiding me the whole time. And I just felt as though, nothing would happen to me, man. And I got fortunate, I got blessed. Some say, you get lucky. You were a part of Atlanta child murders, you were part of Dodge City, DC, you were part of the Chicago homicide. And man, you still stayed. And I'm back in DC now. Still got the faith. I still have the faith, man. Yes,
when you were part of the Atlanta child murders, you saw, like, you were just down here. You met Wayne Williams before, how were you connected to that?
Yeah, because when it was around 81, 82, and all the children at that time were around my age who were getting abducted, who were getting murdered, anywhere from 10 to 12 to 15 somewhere. And I was around that age. So all of my friends, we were warned. Luckily, our parents they still kind of let us go out, but we were in that element, man. And you thought about it every time you went out. You said, man, this dude Wayne Williams, dude, he can be over here. And so we were on the alert then. I was practicing my general orders then. I was keeping on the alert then. Yeah, we were being watchful then, because again, that was the buzz at the time. And we had never heard anything like that before. So, our parents, they couldn't always keep us in the house. So they were on alert as well. And yeah, man, it was a scary time. I can't lie to you, man. It was very scary because you just didn't know if it'd be you next. You didn't know if it'd be you next, man. So you had to walk a certain way to school. You had to check in more. You had to be really tight with your friends and the family. Oh man, it was scary, man. It was scary.
Yes, sir.
Well, but never met the man. Never saw the man.
Yes, sir. Okay, good. That's his name. It says, "Oh, lie." Exactly. I'm happy that you made it out of there.
Yes, sir.
I saw a movie with Gregory Hines, and I forgot who the other guy was, but they were like a detective. It was a detective movie about the Atlanta. Man, I had nightmares for like 3 months after that. So I saw it. I can only imagine living through it.
Oh man, it was a time, man. And again, you really had to be on your P's and Q's, man. Now, I personally, this is just me. Do I believe Wayne Williams actually did it? No. Do I think he's a fall guy? Yes. But nonetheless, those young boys were abducted and many were killed, whether it was Wayne or not, and we were just, and at that time also, Brother Josh, our enemy was still white boys. We didn't have this, you can't, of course you had your little neighborhood fights and stuff like that, but we were fighting white boys. Yeah, our biggest enemy at that time, man, we were fighting white boys had their little group, we had ours, we rode the bus, and we played ball together, but no, we were fighting with them. So that was we weren't thinking like, okay, one of our own is going to do this. Yeah, so our biggest enemy was white boys.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you made it. Sister Tanya from DC says, Assalamu alaikum, salam. I think
yes, ma'am.
I think this is Tanya's first time watching. So thank you, Sister Tanya, for watching People's Podcast. Okay, yes, sir. My next question for you, Brother Ean, is the greatest joy in your life.
Oh man, the greatest joy in my life, man. Well, there were several, but I would say one, when my mother came to the Salam. She came to the Salam. I was a manager by then, you know what I mean? So she was like, okay, yeah, he's really doing this. Like, because she thought, okay, he's just going to go and he's going to be right back, okay, it's not real. Oh, she came and she saw how I conquered. She was like, oh boy. Yeah, oh man, it was because I got to show off moms and everything. And, it was a beautiful thing. And then of course my dad came. Now he's a country boy out of Cordell, Georgia. And, he had heard about the messenger and the minister and everything like that. And he came and I showed him off and he was elated. I took him around, man, showed him, he met everybody, took him to MUI. Oh man, and because they were happy, I was happy.
It's still alive.
Yeah.
And Brother Ean, what are your parents' names?
My mother is Elaine Gibson, formerly Montgomery Gibson, and my dad is Thomas J. Gibson. They called him TJ down in Cordell, and every time I go back home to Cordell, they call me Little TJ. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or Gip, either way.
Beautiful, yes, sir. And
yes, sir.
Bless your parents, shout out to your family.
Yes.
My next question for you is your favorite album of all time.
Let's see. I gotta go with genre. So of course, if I'm going to go with your typical R&B, we're three. The R&B, of course, I got to go with Stevie singing in the songs in the Key of Life. That's the song, the album I grew up with. My dad was a big fan of Stevie, and I didn't really understand it, of course, then. It wasn't until I moved to Chicago and got the tape. And I had just bought a Ford Escort, Brother Josh. Salam was paying me well, boy. Shout out to your dad for helping me get my money. And I got that Stevie Wonder tape, man, and I played it and played it and played it. And all the stuff I heard, it brought back what my dad was playing then. And then I had a better understanding of not only what my dad was listening to, but what Stevie was saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's one. In the rap world, probably gonna go with it might be Life or Death with Big, or it might be Nas's first one. Nas's first one was a storytelling album. I mean, the guy was 19 or 20. That's what's really more amazing than anything, the way he could tell a story. And yes, before the videos will come out, I'm already imagining what he's talking about, because he was, as he said, he was so ill with the pen, right? He had you thinking about it. And of course, in Go-Go, yes, I got to talk about my other favorite music. We got to go with Chuck Brown.
Chuck Brown, man.
Chuck Brown, yes, sir, because he is the godfather. He is the one that even in Atlanta, we were playing Go-Go, didn't even know what it was called. We just felt like busting loose. I had Salam rocking too. All y'all out there who was at the Salam, you already know, Brother Ian had the tape. Shout out to Brother Anthony for sending me the junkyards, the backyards, the S's. Yeah. Oh, I bought Go-Go to Chicago, y'all. Those that know, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wonderful.
Those are my top three, though.
So the Tanya says, Go-Go is your first.
Yeah, I became a convert. Long story short on that, Brother Josh. When I got to DC, I didn't like Go-Go, because you don't know what it is until either you go and see it for yourself or you really understand what it is. So at first, I just thought it was junk, like literally. And they had a band called Junk, literally, i.e. Junkyard. And I just thought of some guys beating on buckets, and they were. They were actually beating on buckets. But again, I'm green. I don't understand. All I know is, DJs and regular bands and stuff. And then once I studied it, my buddy from Virginia, my man Lawrence, he said, Fred, he said, man, he said, you got to go. I said, I ain't going to that. It sounds like garbage. I'm not going to that. And lo and behold, one day, bro, Josh, I messed around, went to Chuck E. Cheese. And it was a breakdance event, and then it was a go-go after that. And after that, I've been hooked. So yeah, I became a convert.
I never experienced the go-go scene. Like, I don't know what it's like. I heard the music, and of course, everybody knows doing the butt because of school days and stuff. But I don't know. I just know the mystique of Chuck Brown and all that. But I can't name 5 go-go songs. So
oh my goodness, yes, I can almost write a book on it. And I'm a stepchild of D.C. I'm a stepchild Washingtonian. They accepted me, and I took on a lot of what they have given to me over the years. And I'm like, oh yeah, go-go is it, man. Because when you go anywhere else, D.C. is the only place that has its own brand of music. I mean, yeah, you got other places have this or that. Everybody else has a DJ. Every other city has DJs. We are the only ones that have our own style of music, and it's all done live. And most of the guys, here's one thing for you right here, Brother Johnson. I know a lot of go-go band members. A lot of guys can't even read the music. They just play from the mind, from the heart, from the ear. And I would sit there and be at the go-go just watching. And I'm like, man, this stuff is amazing. You got the percussionist, you got the congo player. That's known as the engine and the transmission. You got to have those two. Then you start factoring in your keyboard player. Then you factor in your lead talker. Then you factor in your cowbell. Then you factor in your tambourine. I mean, it's layers to it, Brother Johnson. An outsider at first, like I was, I'm like, oh man, it's just a whole bunch of, kabuka-daka. Yeah, until you go see it and then you live it. And I've been to over 200 go-go's live in person. Ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it.
So now I got something to do when I go to DC.
You got to come on, see me. Yeah, come on, see me. I get free access. Come on, yeah, come see me.
Yes, sir. And Sister Tanya is going off. She said Chocolate City. They call her Go-Go Tanya back in the day.
Yeah, she was with the Huckabucks. I didn't like them.
Okay. Akeem said nothing like it. So Tanya, I see y'all went to a Beyonce concert. Nobody told me about the Beyonce concert in DC. So tell your sister and them, shout out to the invitation I got for that. Akeem, I didn't know you was up on go-go either. See what I'm saying? And that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My next question for you is, sir, your car business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How can we support it? How can we show love to you? Because you are showing love.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I am your luxury auto concierge. As I mentioned before, Brother Josh, I framed the name. I got the name rather from 2 things. One, took a chapter out of what the messenger said about he would always name his place as your barbershop or your this or that. I said, okay, well, instead of saying Brother Ian's car service, I said, okay, I'm gonna preface it with your, because that's more important. I'm not that important. You are more important. So it's your, and it's luxury because this is what I specialize in. I specialize in the Lexus, the Beamers, the Benzes, anything that yells luxury, because again, it's still NBA in the car game. No Bama cars either, y'all know that. And I am also a concierge. I was a concierge for like 4 or 5 years at several luxury properties in the DC, Maryland area. And, when you're in the concierge business, it's about service. And that's what we as FOI do anyway. We're here to serve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see, and I just put everything together, man. And, I became the guy that you call, the guy that you go to when you're either looking for that particular Lexus or that particular Cadillac or whatever. You call brother, hey, Brother E, look, I'm busy. I got 5 kids. I work 12 hours a day. Look, I just need this car. I've got X amount of cash. I don't feel like going to a dealership. Can you make it happen? Hey, no problem. Give me 2 days. And I'll get that car for you. So I specialize in private party sales. Private party is different than you going to a dealership. Going to a dealership is nice. I've still got dealership friends, and I'm still associated with people to go to auctions. That's cool. I like for you to meet the person who you're buying the car from.
Okay.
I like for you to shake a person's hand. See, that's that Southern coming out of me. That's that cordial coming out of me. I like for you to meet them and look them in the eye. and get a feel for them. And that way, if the sale doesn't go through, well, you shake hands, no harm, no foul. I like to set it up that way because, again, when the car and the deal is right, they'll be passing out my business cards. You see, even if it goes wrong, they'll say, well, hey, at least Brother E allowed me to meet the person and it was no harm, again, no foul. So, when you deal with one-on-one and when you deal with personal sales or private sales versus dealership sales, see, dealership sales, they just want the sale. That's all. They want to run you through everything, give you a lot of paperwork and yada, 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 and just sign here. Oh, yeah, sign here. Oh, yeah, sign here. No, you want to cater to people. And that's what I do. I cater to you. So I'll come to your house. I'll make the video for your car. I'll find out what you want. Just like when I was working in the salon, Brother Josh, I'm up there. Hey, okay, what can I get you? Okay, let me write that down. Okay, we got you covered. What would you like, filet mignon or you want? Okay, we got you covered. Black Cadillac, leather seat. Yeah, I got you. So, I pattern my business the same way. So somebody may say, well, this is what I'm looking for. Or they'll call me and say, Brother E, look, I need this sold. And I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the platforms you have. I don't know the people you know. So I says, okay, well, what you need for it and how soon do you want it sold and when can we come by, do a test drive. I do all the legwork for you while you go to work and deal with the spouse and deal with the children and go shopping and do all these things. All you want is your money or your car, and I am the Anderson to your headache, because it can be a headache buying and selling cars, Brother Josh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir. Praise be to God. So, Ian, so how can we show you love? Like, how can people who are watching, who want, like, do we go to Facebook, Instagram, email, website?
Yeah. I'll start with the basics. Pick up the phone, give me a call, 202-717-3385. Yes, I always believe in picking up the phone sometimes. Just like Grandma used to say, boy, don't be sending me no email, boy. You better come over here and see me, or you better call me, boy. Yeah, pick up the phone, give me a call, or yes, you can always go to my Instagram. I got a new one. I was hacked last year, so you can go to WHYLACK 2002 on Instagram. And again, that's YLAC 2002 on Instagram, your luxury auto concierge. And of course, I'm on Facebook. Again, got hacked last year. New Facebook page. Yes, sir. Yeah, I know, Sir Ean Muhammad. I had to shorten that for one word. So it's SIREAN Muhammad. Okay. If you try my old one, folks, if you're watching now, you wonder why you couldn't reach me and I didn't get back. Well, I was hacked last year. So the new one, again, is Sir Ean Muhammad. You can reach me those 3 ways. So phone call, Facebook, Instagram. Oh, and don't forget the email, YLAC2002@gmail.com. So you got 4 ways to reach me for and why is it 4? Where are we from, Brother Josh? Mosque number 4. That's yes, right, sir.
Yes, sir. Hold it down. Okay, right, Ian, I just want to make sure I thank you. You've been showing love since the People's Podcast first started, and you're always on YouTube in the comments trying to encourage other people to get the likes up, the share. So, man, we thank a lot for you. As always, I'll be in DC soon, handling some business, taking care of some things I'm working on, and I'll make sure we reach out about the go-go.
Junkyard on me. Junkyard band on me. I got you. Don't worry about it.
Yes, sir. Done deal. One last question for you, Brother Ian. What would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Well, my legacy has pretty much been consistent even before the teachings. Again, I was always practicing the teachings and didn't even know it. I was practicing how to eat to live at 12 and 5 because my father's, again, a country guy, and he would try to have me to eat certain parts of the pork. I just wouldn't do it. Sorry, Dad. Maybe this is Muslim thing. I don't know. But I've been consistent at being a good brother ever since elementary, junior high, high school. If my brother needed something, they had it. I didn't even know the bean soup concept then. I didn't even know. All I knew is I got a friend, he needs something. If I got it, you got it. So my legacy is always going to be that brother, Fred, as they knew me, Brother Ian, as some of y'all know me. Yeah, that brother right there, he got your back when you need it. Because one thing about me, Brother Johnson, Brother Scotty always said, Mosque number 4, he may not always be there when you want him, but he's always there when you need him. And that is probably the best legacy for me.
All praise to Allah. Yes, sir. But Ian, I look forward to seeing you in person. Once again, thank you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Akeem, Sister Tanya, Sister Miriam, Sister Naima, Brother Adio Nasor, everyone who shows love to our YouTube family, Sister Auntie, Brother Musa, Brother Kente, everybody who shows love on YouTube as well. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Islam, sir. NBA.
Yes, that's right. No bed was allowed.
None whatsoever.
Yes, sir.